Hi folks, hope this finds you well. Welcome to another video. This one is an attempt to show some of the recent and not so recent pickups that I've made. Trying to get through this ever overflowing inbox of mine. So let's get on with it. Recently you'll have seen that I tried, or you might have seen, that I tried to do one of these newfangled YouTube shorts. I showed an album playing, and that album was the new one by the world's greatest band, Magma, and the album Cartel. This is a three-sided double album. The last side is just etched. This is, as always, it's an excellent album. I was quite surprised when I first put it on because the tracks on the first side were different from the style of dark Zool music that Magma have been doing since they got back together. This harkened back to the sort of R&B influenced music they were doing at the end of the 70s and into the 80s with the albums like Attack and particularly Mercy. But actually these work, I think, even better than those they did at the time. These are really good, excellent songs. Side B is my favourite side. It's two tracks written by the band's keyboard players rather than Christian Vander himself. First track is more in that dark Zool vein, and the second one sort of, to my mind, harkens back to the Udu Voodoo period. Side C is back to that R&B influenced material from the late 70s, and for the first track anyway. The second track is actually two demo tracks from 1978, which just feature Christian Vander himself and Rene Garber. Nobody else. And now I can see why the other tracks sound like they're from that late 70s period, because two of the tracks are actually the tracks that these demos are of, from 1978. The one problem I've got with this album is I think the two demo tracks, they should have put on a separate single included with the album, 7-inch single, and put the first track on side D at the end of side A and just made it a single album. It's just that the two demos sonically don't fit. They're obviously, like I say, demos, and they're rough tracks, but overall, superb album. Recommended to all Magma fans. Excellent. albums from two different labels that occupy probably about the same sort of space. You've got this double 10-inch on the Ghost Box label by the advisory circle called Full Circle. There you go. Ghost Box being one of these labels that I discovered thanks to I think Dale, Gatefold 33, and they tend to put out modern electronica albums in the sort of hauntology style. They've done other albums by the Advisory Circle, who is the artist Kate Brooks. This one I thought it was excellent, but it's less in that hauntology vein than the other material that she's done, but well worth having. And the other album, another label, is Castles in Space, the label, another one that Dale put me on to. And this is the band name is Twilight Sequence, but really it's just Matthews J. Saunders, and this is his second release for the label. It's a one-sided track. Well, you don't get a proper sleeve, you just get a single piece of card, and the album comes on clear vinyl. Don't know if you'll get the etching on the other side. Again, pretty much in that modern day electronica with a bit of the sort of Dusseldorf school of electronics, I think. Bear with me, get this back in. Again, quite highly recommended. Supposedly this was originally done, I think, for a video, and the music and I think the video itself represented the passing of a single day in Dorset. Well worth having both of those albums. And sticking with modern day electronica, I have these two albums. And oh, sorry about the glare. Should have taken them out of the sleeves. Bear with me. There you go, that's better. These two albums by the band Utopia Strong. This is their first one from 2019, and this is their latest album from 2022. Now, Utopia Strong are a trio made up of Steve Davis, who, for the probably the non-sporting members of the VC, was a great snooker player in the 1980s, won the world championship title, I think 6 times, along with Kavus Tarabi, who was in the Cardiacs and Guapo, and he's currently in the latest lineup of Gong. And the third person is Michael J. York, who was in Coil and an excellent band called the Stargazer's Assistant, an offshoot of Guapo again. And these are albums of, again, modern day electronica with a sort of cluster, Comino and Thrip, Emerald styles of electronics. Actually really good. During lockdown, they recorded 3 other albums, all of side-long tracks, which I'd love to get, but it just seemed to be impossible to get at the moment, which I think they self-released. Steve Davis is a bit of a hero. He was nicknamed Steve Interesting Davies, but he was always a massive fan of the progressive and the weirder side of music. He was a massive fan of Magma and actually promoted them over here, to come over here and do a concert. He's had a radio program for a while, playing really great music. And now he started to release albums himself. Well done. Again, if you like your modern day electronica, highly recommended. Next, we have, try and take this out, be careful, because this is, it says Altered States 04. Altered States is a collaboration between 2 labels, Cardinal Fuzz and Centripetal Forces from the States. Oops. And this is the style of cover it comes in. I've got to be careful. And this is number 4 in the series. And the band is Agnes Martian, who are an American band from Portland, Oregon. Let me try and get this back in before I drop it. They're a four-piece, and their music is sort of space rock mixed with Kosmischer music, and because one of the players plays saxophone, you get a bit of sort of like free jazz squonking, but it's really good stuff. It's like I say, excellent Hawkwind style space rock in places, Tangerine Dream style electronic in other places, and like I say, overlaid with free jazz saxophone. Nice one. And next we go to Scandinavia. How could I not do a video without some Scandinavian music? But not this time in the progressive mold, but in the psych rock vein. Just get these out. And first up, we have this album by the band Made of Ale, and their album Madness is Too Pure. Now this is psychedelic rock. Comes in a nice blue, turquoise, whatever, vinyl. Excellent heavy psych. Sorry, I was just trying to look at the lineup, but it's not on here. Anyway, it's quite melodic, heavy in places, psych with a bit of krautrock and a bit of prog leanings in play, but really good. This is I think their second album from 2018. Oops. And the second one, again another Swedish group, is Nafilla. I keep on wanting to say Naphilia for some reason. This beautiful cover. And this is their debut album. Again, this is sort of psychedelic rock with a bit of space rock, quite heavy in places. This is their debut from 2021. And their 7-piece band with 2 female singers. I think they're the singers, are they? Just bear with me. Yeah, they're the vocalist, Stina Olsen and Josephine Asker. And there is, I think, a couple of these members of Nafilla were members of Made of Ale too. So there's a link between the two bands. Sorry if I'm rushing through these, but there's a few to show. Next one's one I picked up from Svart in one of their sales, and it's a bit different. This is, now the band is called Ballerina, and this is their album Poison Gown. And it's sort of, this is all played on acoustic stringed instruments. Comes with a nice booklet. And it's described as doom chamber music by some. It's a three-piece. Jennifer Christensen on cello, Isla Holland on guitar, and Bajo Quinto, and Miles Donovan on viola, harp, and machete. This is quite dark, like I say, neoclassical dirges, really. But I think if you like, if you like modern classical string quartet style, dark atmospheric music, you'd find something in this. I thought it was really excellent. I was pleased to discover it in the Svart sale. Czechoslovakia. I've got a few albums by this band, and this is their live. This is Marian Varga and Collegium Musicum, and this is their live album, I think their second live album from 1975 on the Opus label. Collegium Musicum are a bit like sort of the Nice, in that they often do reworkings of classical pieces. On here they do Microcosm by Bartók and a piece by Prokofiev, as well as music of their own. They're a five-piece. Marian Varga is the keyboard player and the main guy. You have drums, bass and guitar. Sorry, there are four-piece. It's just listed the sound engineer as a member of the band. I think they're superb. If you like the Nice and that sort of ELP, keyboard-driven prog, then you should like these. And back to the Nordic countries, and we have another live album, and this is by the Finnish band Pirpalkka. This is a double album, live in Europe, I think from a 1982-83 tour they did of Europe. All the tracks are from concerts in Germany, Finland and Sweden and Denmark, so Northern Europe. Pirpalkka were around from the early 70s. I've got the first two albums. They're a sort of jazz prog fusion band with strong folk leanings. On here you get folk numbers from Finland, from Azerbaijan and from Romania, as well as pieces written by themselves. It's all instrumental apart from the first track, which has some jokey vocals, which you could do without. But excellent prog fusion, like I say, with a strong world music basis. Next, we go to Germany, and this band and this album was shown by Petri in one of his videos, and I just had to pick it up. It's Linensfork. They're a German folk band, and this album, if you bear with me, is called Gehofft wie Gesprungen. And they play traditional German music of the sort of, with a medieval twist to it. So it appeals to both my love of European folk as well as early music. I think it's all acoustic based. There's no, this isn't folk rock, but it's wonderful stuff. I really enjoyed this album, and thank you to Petri for putting me onto it. And finally, in the week I took a trip to Carlisle. First trip I've had out there since before the pandemic started. Ostensibly it was to collect, to have a look for some books. Took a visit to the shop bookcase, which is 3 stories worth of second-hand books. Loved it. Came away with a lot of vintage sci-fi. Should actually do a haul of those sometime. But I also took a visit to the only independent record shop in Carlisle, which is Vinyl Cafe, which, as its name implies, is a small cafe which the front sells vinyl. Half the vinyl is new, half second-hand. But I came away with 3 albums. Probably not the sort of thing you might expect, seeing what the type of stuff I normally show. But the first one was this album by Dr. Feelgood, Sneaking Suspicion. This one's from 1977. I've always loved the Feelgoods, blues, rock. This is an early album of theirs when Wilco Johnson was still in the band. You know what to expect with the Feelgoods. Excellent stuff. The next album I picked up was not one I would have actually gone for, but it was playing while I was in the shop, and I was really enjoying it. So when it appeared on the shelves, I picked it up, and that's Linton Kwesi Johnson's Forces of Victory. I think this is his first album. Linton Kwesi Johnson was a sort of dub poet. Now, while I like my reggae and my dub, I wouldn't have bought this if I hadn't heard it, because I would have expected it to concentrate more on the poetry than on the musical aspects of the album. But this was really good. The dub rhythms were superb. So like I said, I had to buy it. been looking to get some more reggae and dub into my collection. And this was on the Island label. Can't see the year. I think it was around 77 again. See if I can find out. No, 79. 79. A bit later than I expected. But no, this is wonderful dub. The poetry is very politically charged, as you would expect, particularly from that period. And the final album I came away with, and you know my love of punk, The Damned, and their album, was it the fourth or fifth album? The Black Album. And even though I was never a big punk fan, really, for me it was always a genre that was where the single ruled rather than albums as such. You know, I hated the Sex Pistols, but The Damned I always, for some reason, enjoyed and liked. This is a double album, and the only other album I've got by them is Phantasmagoria, where they went into this sort of gothic psych mode. And this seems to be a crossover album with tracks that harken back to their early punk days and others that sort of are going towards that psych goth feel. Side 3 is just a single track, 17 minutes or so, called Curtain Call, which is excellent. Who'd have thought a punk band doing a 17-minute track? And they used to have a go at prog bands. And the final side is Live, which I must admit I expected not to enjoy, but I really did. And that's where they do, you know, some of their bigger songs like Love Story, Smash It Up, Parts 1 and 2, New Rose. Really enjoyed this, and I really should get some more early Damned into my collection. So that's all the, well, not all, some of the albums I've picked up. But I just want to finish off with a book that arrived this weekend, and that's the latest tome from the Freeman brothers, Alan and Steve Freeman, A Fistful of Spaghetti. And this is their book on Italian prog. Brilliant book. They wrote the Cracking the Cosmic Egg, which is the Bible for krautrock, which came out probably in the 90s, I think, early 90s. As soon as that one was finished, they started work on this one, I think. And I've been waiting for this one to come out now for like 30 years. I think they struggled to get financing and to find a print, etc. But they finally got it finished. I'd recommend this to anybody with an interest in Italian progressive music or progressive music from anywhere, really, because some of the best prog rock came from Italy. I'll leave a link in the comments if you would like to pick this up. Highly recommend that you go and support the brothers and buy this. And I even get a mention, an acknowledgement in here. Can't be bad. Yeah, then they're now moving on to the next volume, which is the French prog. I just hope that doesn't take another 30 years. I don't think I'll be here to see it otherwise. Right. Anyway, that's another video done. looking down here, there's still an awful lot in this inbox, or should I say inboxes. Anyway, everybody take care. Hope you're all doing well, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.